Hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football and welcome back to another live Manchester United news and transfer news update show. We've got lots and lots to talk about in today's show, and I do apologise if I am slightly late for today's show. I was just running behind, but we've got Timber, we've got De Jong, we've got obviously Ten Hag's had his first week in charge, and a lot of reports are coming out saying this player's not in Ten Hag's plan, this player's not in Ten Hag's plan, and all of that. Obviously, Ralph Rangnick had his last ever press conference today, said some interesting comments. Erik Ten Hag's obviously done an interview and he's spoken out about a few things, which is really, really interesting as well. Ten Hag talking about Ronaldo, how he views Ronaldo. So, you know, when Paul Merson came out and said, oh, I'd be surprised if Ten Hag wants Ronaldo. Well, Ten Hag fucking wants Ronaldo, you twat, eh? You know, he's made himself look like a mole. We've got lots and lots to talk about. I want to get into Ten Hag's comments. I want to get into the Timber news. Reports are coming out from, I think it was Ekrem Konar that said it. Let me check. Yeah, Ekrem Konar said the reports coming out that United are in advanced talks with JURRIEN Timber. That seems to be reporting. That seems to be reported widely. There's reports about obviously Williams and Wan-Bissaka set to leave, come out from Luckhurst. We told Williams and Wan-Bissaka they're not in the plans, which would mean that Timber will come in, even though he's not a fullback. We've got De Jong stories. We've got Darwin Núñez stories. Apparently, it's not true that Darwin Núñez rejected United. Apparently, Darwin Núñez wants to be in the Premier League. We've got Rafinha's story, Jonathan David's story. We've got lots and lots to get through, and even a little bit of a story on Ndika. So do make sure you smash that like button. Do make sure you subscribe if you're new. Big up, Gaz. Thank you very much. Maguire for sale. So there was a report that came out. I believe it was from the Daily Mail. I think it was from Sammy from the Daily Mail that said Harry Maguire could be up for sale or something like that. I need to find the report because I forgot to put it in my notes. Maguire sold. I don't know what it was, but there was a report coming out. I think it was from the Daily Mail about Maguire potentially not being in Ten Hag's plans. Now, if I'm going to be honest with you, yes, it came from Chris Wheeler and Sami Mokbel of the Daily Mail said that, and they said this yesterday night. They said that Harry Maguire's future could be in doubt if Ten Hag strengthens in that position by returning to AJAX during Timber or Lisandro Martinez. United have been linked with Martinez, Pau Torres during Timber. Now they're saying, the Daily Mail is saying that, you know, Harry Maguire's future could be in doubt. Well, I think long-term Harry Maguire's future could be in doubt. I think Harry Maguire's a player that I could see being sold next summer, not this summer. I think if Harry Maguire has a poor season next season, he will be sold. Harry Maguire, I don't think will be sold this summer. Now, Harry Maguire might not be in Ten Hag's plans. He might not. But you've got to remember, Jones and Bailly are 100% not in Ten Hag's plans. And if we lose Jones and if we lose Bailly, our only centre-backs are Maguire, the injury-ridden Varane and Lindelof, and then Timber, who comes in. And at the end of the day, whether you like Maguire or not, Varane's going to get an injury. We're going to be reliant on Timber and Lindelof that just wouldn't complement each other at centre-back. They're both not physical enough. We're going to need Maguire, or we're going to need to buy two centre-backs. And when we're in a window where we need two midfielders, a right winger, a right back, a striker, we can't afford to buy two centre-backs. So unless we keep Bailly around, and I don't think it's worth keeping Bailly because he was injured, and I don't think it's worth keeping Phil Jones, it makes sense for United to keep Maguire. Whether you like Maguire or not, it makes sense for us to keep him because Timber and Lindelof won't complement each other. Timber and Varane won't really complement each other. There's going to be injuries. We're going to need that fourth centre-back. Tuanzebe's not been good on loan. You know, despite reports saying that you know, Maguire might not be in Ten Hag's plans, Ten Hag probably is not going to have a choice but to keep Maguire, despite reports saying that, you know, we want a centre-back because we're going to get one defender, let's be real. I think this time next summer, Maguire could be sold. I think this time next summer, we might get another centre-back and Maguire could be sold. But I don't believe the stories that Maguire will be sold because I know that Bailly and Jones are for sale, and I don't think you can sell Maguire. Now, I think if United had loads more centre-backs and we'd brought Pau Torres and Timber and Jules Koundé or someone, we brought multiple centre-backs, cool, Maguire would be sold. But I don't, you know, I know a lot of you guys want Maguire sold, but at the end of the week, it wouldn't be logical to sell Maguire. And you're probably thinking, Alice, what do you mean it's not logical to sell Maguire? He's not been good. Yeah, it's not been good, but we don't have the squad depth for it. We can't buy two centre backs. We need Maguire because, you know, whether you like this or not, whether you see this as positive or negative, some people see this as negative, but Maguire can pretty much always stay fit. Now, I don't like Harry Maguire in the sense that he starts week in, week out and that he's captain. But I think Harry Maguire isn't that bad of a centre back. I think he's good for England. There is a good player in there. Whether he's He's not worth 80 million. The thing that frustrates me about Maguire is he starts in, week out, even though he's been poor. And the other thing that frustrates me about Maguire is he's captain. He's not a captain. But despite reports saying that Maguire could be sold because of JURRIEN, Timber, and Lissandro Martinez, I don't believe that story. I really don't. I don't think it even makes sense to sell Maguire as well. Ryan Bennett under 18 is greater than Maguire. He might well be, but I just think it's silly to sell Maguire. And what about Mengi? Look, Mengi's a good up and coming player, but again, Maguire at the end of the day, he's been crap this season, but he's an England international. He's a Premier League level centre back. He's not a Man United level centre back, but he's a Premier League level centre back. I think with how bad Maguire is, we've kind of got this perception that Maguire's a Sunday League player. At the end of the day, Maguire is a mid-table, West Ham, Aston Villa, Leicester, Newcastle kind of centre back, a team that would be mid-table pushing for top six. That's the kind of teams Maguire starts for. I don't think Maguire is a player that I go, oh no, he's a championship player. At the end of the day, we can be as critical as we want of Maguire. He shouldn't be playing for United. He's been shit. He's not a top 4 player. He's still, he's a Premier League level player. Scott McTominay is a Norwich City player. I think Harry Maguire is, a little bit higher up. I think he's a Villa kind of player, if I'm going to be honest with you. And look, this time a year ago, Harry Maguire was one of our best players. This time a year ago, Harry Maguire had a brilliant Euros. Look, I'm not backing Harry Maguire. I'm not sticking up for Maguire. I think he should be dropped. But I think with players like Maguire and Rashford, like this time a year ago, Maguire and Bruno, this time a year ago, they were some of our best players. And I just think we can't afford to sell all our centre-backs as well. But yeah, 2 days until last game is going to be good, especially divided. It's going to be a crazy last game of the season because Champions League title, Europa League, relegation, top goal scorer and Golden Glove are all going to be decided, which is absolutely mad. Southgate and Ollie both have defensive systems. Has to be a system like that for Maguire to look decent. He's an old-fashioned centre-back. I agree. I don't think Maguire will suit Ten Hag's style of play, but I just think you can't sell him because we're going to sell Bailly, we're going to sell Phil Jones. I just don't think it makes sense. Maguire not enough for Manchester United on current form. Yes, you're right. And Maguire is sale with Bailly, Jones, Henderson, Wan-Bissaka, Martial, Brandon Williams, and obviously those leaving. So yeah, I want to talk about the players that Ten Hag is set to sell. Ten Hag seems to be set to sell a lot of Manchester United players. 10 players reportedly for sale. And obviously those players that Ten Hag has told. So apparently it's come out basically that Ten Hag has told a couple Man United players that they're not in his plans. Apparently Brandon Williams has been informed that he's probably not going to be in Manchester United's plans, which I think is bold. I think Brandon Williams has been okay at Norwich. I think he's still very young. There still could be a good player in Brandon Williams. But at the end of the day, is Brandon Williams good enough to start week in, week out for Manchester United? And the answer to that is no. And Brandon Williams has been one of the players reportedly, and this has come out from Luckhurst, so decent source of information. But Brandon Williams has reportedly been one of the players that Ten Hag said that you're not in my plans. Wan-Bissaka was informed yesterday. His agents were informed yesterday, and we've known this for a while. He's not in Ten Hag's plans. So Wan-Bissaka and Wan-Bissaka and Williams are not in Ten Hag's plans. This has come out today. That maybe Timber coming in. I know he's not a fullback, but he can play fullback. Martial set to leave. Okay. Phil Jones not in Ten Hag's plans. ERIK not in Ten Hag's plans. There's going to be discussions with Rashford in his future and Tellers in his future, but as it stands, Dean Henderson is not in Ten Hag's plans. Wan-Bissaka is not in Ten Hag's plans. Brandon Williams is not in Ten Hag's plans. Tuanzebe is not in Ten Hag's plans. ERIK is not in Ten Hag's plans. Phil Jones is not in Ten Hag's plans. That's 6 players sold. Martial's not in Ten Hag's plans because Martial doesn't want to be here, and Ten Hag doesn't want anyone that doesn't want to be here. So that's 7 players potentially sold. Paul Pogba, Matic, Cavani, and of course Lingard leaving on a free as well. That's 12 players potentially leaving. Because some of them aren't in Ten Hag's plans and some of them are leaving on a free. Ten Hag apparently hasn't made his mind up about Rashford, but would like to give Rashford one more season. Maguire reportedly long term isn't in Ten Hag's plans, but United got bigger priorities, so Maguire will be there. There's a lot of players that don't seem to be in Ten Hag's plans, and can you blame him? If you watch this season, you'd want to sell them all but Ronaldo. But the one player that is in Ten Hag's plans that we know is Ronaldo. Ten Hag has plans for Ronaldo. Ten Hag actually has plans for Diego Dalot, and Ten Hag has plans for Donny van de Beek. The 5 players that Ten Hag reportedly likes is Varane, Sancho, Ronaldo, Dalot, and Donny van de Beek. interesting mix, but they're the 5 players that seem to be part of Ten Hag's plans and the core of his plans, along with David De Gea. Obviously, players like Lindelof, quite neutral. Players like Luke Shaw, quite neutral. I think Luke Shaw's going to be good under Ten Hag, and maybe I'll be wrong, but I don't think Luke Shaw's as bad as we make out. Fred will probably be okay under Ten Hag. McTominay is a United standard. It's a difficult one, but we know that there's a lot of players that are going to be leading. I'm pretty sure Ten Hag would want to get rid of most of the squad, but he can only get rid of about 10 players realistically, because you've got to be able to replace them, find the squad depth. And I think while long term, Maguire and De Gea would probably be gone. Not that I think De Gea's been bad, but I think De Gea doesn't suit Ten Hag's philosophy, either does Maguire. I think that Maguire and De Gea will not be gone this season as well. Guys, please do hit that like button if you haven't already. And of course, subscribe down below if you're new. Let's go to 150 likes. Maguire's also pushing 30 and lacks pace and athleticism. Will decline further as he ages. I 100% agree. And United could do with the sales of Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Telles, Martial, Rashford, to be fair. We could do with the money. Now, I'm thinking the players that Ten Hag's told are going are Wan-Bissaka. I reckon we can get 15 mil for Wan-Bissaka at least. I think we can get 15 mil for Brandon Williams. That's 30 mil. I think we can get 30 mil for Dean Henderson. That's 60 mil. I think we can get 25 mil for Martial. That's 85 mil. I think we can get 10 mil for Bailly. That's 95 mil. And then you get rid of Phil Jones. You've raised 95 million funds. You've probably saved another 100 million a year in wages because of the free agents as well. You put that 95 mil on top of £120 million budget that Ten Hag has, you've got around 250 million pounds to spend in the summer. Will he have that much money to spend? I doubt it. It's not FIFA, but let's say Ten Hag does have 250 million pounds to spend in the summer. 30 goes on Timber, 60 goes on Jong. That is 90, and then you've got 125 million left to get a DM and a striker and a fullback, and that would be a brilliant summer. It's been reported that Ten Hag's #1 priority is midfield, but he also wants a centre-back. He would also like the remaining budget to go on a striker. And if any money is left, he'd like to go for a fullback, which 100% makes sense. I mean, to be fair, I think United need to address about 11 positions. I think we're crap in 11 positions. But, unfortunately, it's not FIFA. We can't get rid of everyone. We can't bring everyone in. But ideally, Manchester United sell the whole squad and buy a new squad. That's not going to happen. But the situation is, I think 10 out, 5 in the summer. I've said it for the last month. 10 out, 5 in. I think that is what's going to happen, if I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys as well. Mark Goldbridge was told by a tier 1 source that the club are going to try and get a right back this summer, says Sam. But I don't know if the tier 1 source refers to Timber as a right back or not. Timber for me is a centre back, but he is technically a right back, but I'm hoping we'd get Timber and a right back. I don't want to buy Timber and play him at right back. However, I could see Timber tucking in as a third centre back maybe as well. We have to pick and choose what sort of and what we sort of do and not sort. This board can only sanction so much per window. That influence is kept. Yeah, there's so much to do that it's going to take 3 windows. I think Rangnick said, look, at the end of the day, United have got a lot to do, but it's going to take 2 or 3 windows. You're absolutely spot on as well. Next on, I think you could get 45 million for Rashford. I think United could get 40-50 million for Marcus Rashford. I don't think Marcus Rashford will be sold. I don't think Maguire will be sold. I don't think Rashford will be sold. I don't think McTominay will be sold. I know a lot of you guys want them sold, but as I said, the players that Ten Hag has told are not in his plans are Wan-Bissaka, Bailly, Jones, Brandon Williams, Martial, Dean Henderson. They're the 6 players that aren't in Ten Hag's plans. Telles reportedly not in Ten Hag's plans, but obviously if you're getting rid of Williams and Wan-Bissaka, I don't think you can get rid of Telles as well. Maguire, it's been reported not in Ten Hag's plans, but I don't think Maguire will be sold because Jones and Bailly will be sold first. We'd have no squad depth if we sold like 15 players. I want to sit here and I want to sell about 20 players at Man United, but players like Maguire, McTominay, Rashford, while they've been crap this season, do we have the squad depth to sell them? You look at our attacking situation. Mata's gone, Lingard's gone, Cavani's gone, Greenwood's gone, Martial's gone, Ronaldo's 37. Our current front three for next season would be Rashford, Sancho, Ronaldo, as things stand. When you look at the players that are leaving, you look at the players that are joining. That's not great. Obviously, we'll sign a striker. Hopefully, we'll sign a winger. Obviously, you've got Amad Diallo and Garnacho coming through, but we don't have, as much as I think 40-50 million for Rashford, that's decent. I think Rashford's been poor. I'm at the point where, Rashford has been good for us in the past. He did have 2 good seasons under Ollie. Let's just give Rashford 1 more year. My thought is get Wan-Bissaka, Williams, Bailly, Jones, Dean Henderson, and even Martial out just because he doesn't want to stay. Get them out this summer. Obviously, you've got Lingard, Mata, Matic, Pogba and Cavani leaving on a free. My opinion is get those 11 players out this summer. Then next summer is like, okay, if we're sitting here next year and Rashford's had another poor season, get rid of Rashford. If we're sitting here next year and Maguire's had another poor season, get rid of Maguire. If we're sitting here next year and even Bruno, who's one of my favourite players, has had another poor season, you get rid of Bruno. Do you know what I mean? If McTominay's had another poor season, you get rid of McTominay. But I think you can only get rid of about 12 players this summer max, because we're only going to bring about 5 in. As much as I'd like to get rid of 20 players and bring 20 in, it's not FIFA. As I said, I think it's going to be what we've been told from James Ducker of the Telegraph is that Ten Hag's going to sign 2 midfielders, one of which is a CDM. So ideally it's Jong and a CDM for Ten Hag's midfield. Then he wants to sign a defender in JURRIEN Timber. Then he wants to sign a striker, but that striker we sign is dependent on what budget is left. And then he wants to sign a right back. That seems to be Ten Hag's plans. Obviously, Ten Hag's told Delo he wants him to stay. Ten Hag's told Ronaldo he wants him to stay. But that is Ten Hag's plan, as we know. And as I've said, money can be raised. I think we can raise a good 80 million in sales. I think next summer, I think Wan-Bissaka will probably be the biggest player to leave, or Martial will be the biggest player to leave United this summer. I think next summer is when, honestly, the real rebuild happens. And people might call me crazy. This summer is getting out a lot of the deadwood and getting out the players that aren't even involved. So, even though Rashford, Maguire, Bruno, McTominay, they've all been poor, they'll have another season under Ten Hag, because I think Phil Jones and Bailly are bigger deadwood. I think this summer is literally getting out the deadwood, and the next summer is the real rebuild, where you're actually getting rid of big names. You're getting people out, you're bringing people in. I think this summer is 10 out, 5 in. I think next summer could be 5 out and then 3 bigger names in. I think we're going to go for 5 names, balance the team this summer. And then next summer it might be centre back and then right winger. We might spend big on that. I think that's likely what United could do. Please do hit that like button if you haven't already. Please note to Richarlison. United will only get Richarlison if Everton get relegated, and Everton won't get relegated. So I don't see Richarlison happening, if I'm being honest, as well. Is Jude Bellingham a no? Look, I'd love Jude Bellingham, but he's not going to come to Manchester United. He will be Liverpool bound. Jude Bellingham will stay at Dortmund one more season. It's been made pretty clear that Bellingham is set to stay at Dortmund one more season, and that doesn't shock me whatsoever. I think Martial can shine under Ten Hag. So do I. I think it's a shame Martial wants to leave. Martial made up his mind in January that he wanted to leave. Martial could have stayed at United in January and said, "Oh, I've got a point to prove under Rangnick." Because at the end of the day, Cavani's fucked off. Greenwood went to prison. But, Martial fucked off first. If Martial waited, Martial would have had a chance under Rangnick. He would have had a chance, okay? Because Cavani wouldn't have been there. Greenwood wouldn't have been there. Martial would have got a fair bit of game time under Rangnick. But Martial had a sulk. He didn't want to prove himself under Rangnick. He wanted to piss off. He'd got a brand new interim manager in, fresh start for Martial, and he thought, no, I want to go. And you've got the Ten Hag coming in now. You've got a fresh start for Martial. I think there's a good player in Martial. I think we do need to sell him. He's not very good at Sevilla. He's not very good the last 2 seasons. But I know how good Martial can be. When Martial's on form, he's a good player. And if I was Martial, I'd be saying, I want to stay at United. I want to prove a point. Ten Hag, he's going to suit my style of play. I think Martial would work under Ten Hag because he's a team player and he links up quite well. But Martial's made his mind up. He wants to leave United. And Ten Hag, Ten Hag might have wanted to keep. Ten Hag might have had Martial on his plans, but the minute Ten Hag hears Martial doesn't want to be here, Ten Hag's gone. Ten Hag is like, if a player, no matter how good they are, if a player doesn't want to play for me, Ten Hag wants them gone. It doesn't matter how good they are. If you're not here, if your heart's not in it, you're not in Ten Hag's plans. And that's a shame with Martial, because as I've said, there's always been a really good player in Anthony Martial, but he just doesn't want it. You can't blame him for going. I guess you can't. You can't, to be fair. Martial and Rashford both had the chances to get rid. Yeah, I get you. Look, I love Rashford. I love Martial. Literally 3 years ago, I was saying Martial, Greenwood, and Rashford, one of the best front threes in the world. And for me, it's really depressing, because 3 years ago, Martial, Rashford, Greenwood were 17, 21, 23, and they'd completely outscored Mane, Salah, Firmino. We had this bright, young attacking trio that we thought was going to be there for the next 10 years. Martial was fantastic. Rashford was fantastic. Greenwood at 17 had scored 17 goals. And, a part of it was Ollie. I think Ollie's poor coaching. Or, I think these players didn't improve under Ollie. He wasn't a poor coach. Greenwood, you can't blame anyone for that other than Greenwood and maybe the wages he's on. But there's no one to blame for do you know what I mean? Martial lost confidence. Cavani came in and Martial didn't like not being the main man. And Rashford's gone. I don't know what's happened to Rashford. It's really sad what's happened to Rashford. I think he's shattered in confidence. And I've always said Rashford's a confidence player. And I think the Euros and the racist abuse broke Rashford. I feel sorry for Rashford because, look, he is one of the most abused athletes ever out there. He gets so much abuse, so much racist abuse. And unfortunately with Rashford, I think he's a player that's very affected by what he reads online. And it frustrates me about United players because they spend too much time online, too much time on social media, and they care too much what people think. And I think Rashford will read what people think, and his confidence is shattered. And I've always said I do believe there's a good player in Rashford. Now, I think Rashford has been our worst player this season, and I love Rashford. But Rashford has just got on the ball and he's just been shit. Like, he can't pass, he can't move, he can't run. I remember the Villa game, he had a rebound, didn't chase it. Ronaldo was doing his tracking back. He's not listening to Ralph. You know, at least Maguire was starting week in, week out. Rashford can't get in the team sheet over Elanga. Like, I'm really sad what's happened with Rashford. And I'm at the point where, you know, if you look at Rashford and if we were a proper club, you'd sell a player after a season like that. But you've also got to remember we're losing about 11 other players this window. And, you know, if this was next summer and we're sitting here a year and Rashford's been like that, you sell. But because we're already selling 11 players and Martial's one of them, Cavani's gone, Lingard's gone, and Greenwood's not coming back, I don't think we can sell Rashford. Like with Maguire, with Phil Jones and Bailly and Tuanzebe going, I don't think you can sell Maguire because if you sell Maguire, it will just be the injury of Varane, Lindelof, and maybe Timber. We'd only have 3 centre-backs per season. That's not enough. You know, I think there's players that have been poor, but as I said, you just can't sell them. But I do think it's depressing what's happened with Martial, Maguire, Martial, Marcus, and Mason, Triple M, because they were such a exciting, prosperous front three, and none of them have reached their potential. And you know, none of them could be here at United in a year. I think Martial will go this summer. I don't think Greenwood's ever going to come back, and you know, I think Rashford will have one more season. And if Rashford doesn't do anything under 10 Hag next season, he'll be gone. And that's a really sad thing that, you know, in just over a year, this front three that we thought was United's for the next 10 years, it could well and truly be gone. And I always think that's a sad thing. Anthony will cost around 50 million. United are in for Anthony, but as I've said, United are going to get a midfielder. They're going to go for Timber, and I think the rest of the budget will go on attack. I don't think we're going to sign an attacker until we get a defender and a midfielder sorted. And there's also been a report that's come out today, actually, a really interesting report that's come out today, saying basically Erik ten Hag, if he can't get a striker, would like a right-sided forward that's left-footed. That's the story that come out today. If Erik ten Hag can't get a striker, he wants a right-sided forward that's left-footed. And they're basically describing Anthony. So I think right now, keep an eye on Timber, keep an eye on De Jong, and maybe keep an eye on any midfielders that Manchester United could get a link to. I'd say keep an eye on it. But if you want my 100% honest opinion, I don't think that I think if we're going to get Anthony, if we're going to get Nunes, I don't think it'll be till the end of the transfer window. I think keep an eye on the midfield, keep an eye on defence and all that. I do want to get into some transfer news, guys. I do want to get into what's happened with Timber. I do want to get into some comments that ten Hag's made as well. You'll never get 80 million back from Maguire. Yeah, that goes without saying. And I can see it already with I can see Rashford already staying. So-called fans will turn on ten Hag. I hope fans don't turn on ten Hag. What I'm going to say, guys, is next season, it doesn't matter where we finish. Next season is just getting the players to adapt to ten Hag's style of play, getting ten Hag to adapt to the league. Klopp, look at Klopp now. We'd all take Klopp at Man United. He didn't get top 4 in his first season with Liverpool. We had to sell a lot of players, bring a lot of players in. There was a lot to do. I don't want to see fans turning on ten Hag after one bad season because we've seen it's the manager. Ten Hag's going to need time for this rebuild because not only is the whole board restructured at Manchester United, he's got to get rid of so many players, bring so many players in and completely implement a new style of play. Ten Hag's style of football couldn't be any more different than Ollie's. And I just think that, you know, we can't turn on Ten Hag if things start to not go our way and all of that as well. We want to get Nunes and no one should really care about. We won't get Nunes and no one should really care about it. I think Darwin Nunes isn't the right player for United. I'm not a big fan of Darwin Nunes. But if he's 50 million, it's not bad. But I just think he's not the best other than finishing. I'm a bit sceptical about Darwin Nunes as well. Why are we not trying Charlie McNeil for the youth system? I'd like to see him, but I think Garnacho's been the more impressive one lately as well. Someone said they'd take a bag of Harry Bowes for Maguire. And the Tier 1 source said that Timber will not be a right back because the club is getting rid of Phil Jones and Bailly, so the club are trying their best to buy right back. So apparently a Tier 1 source, according to Sam, has said that United want a centre-back and a right back, which is good because I was worried we're going to buy Timber and use him as a right back. And I think United need Timber, United need De Jong, United need a CDM, United need a striker, and United need a fullback. And even a right winger as well because Sancho's not a right winger, Rashford's not a right winger. Ahmad, Palestri, Garnacho, we can give them a go. But, you know, Obviously, we did have a little bit of time without a right winger. We played Daniel James there, but, you know, we'll be too predictable if Aura attacks us down the left as well. Thanks, Scott, for the super chat. Rashford, it's a double back fracture. I agree. You know, Rashford's back and injuries, I don't think have helped. I think that's stopped his momentum and confidence. What about De Ligt? De Ligt to United, I don't think it's going to happen. I think he's set to sign a new contract at Juventus, and it's going to take 2 or 3 years for Ten Hag to improve. I think we can't judge Ten Hag off his first season. You judge him off his second and third. I mean, you can judge him off his second, but you can't make conclusions to his third. We have been linked to Jonathan David. I'll get into the Jonathan David story. I don't think there's much in it, but it's come out from CBS Sport that Jonathan David and Darwin Núñez are the 2 names on Ten Hag's wish list as he looks to recruit a new centre forward who can dovetail with eventually succeed Cristiano Ronaldo. CBS Sport also said that Ten Hag is understood to be following Jonathan David's progress at Ghent and Lille for some time. Now, Jonathan David's a good player, a good young striker, dropped off a bit this season. He only has 1 or 2 goals in 2022. I wouldn't mind Jonathan David for less than 30 million, but I just think I'm a little bit sceptical about him and Núñez, if I'm going to be honest. There's not a striker that I've looked at and I'm like, bring him. There's not, honestly, if someone said, name me a striker to bring to United, there's just like Haaland and Julian Alvarez were the 2 strikers that excite me the most. Guess where they're at? Our rivals. There's not, you know, Osimhen I quite like at Napoli, but I think he's overpriced. I don't know if Tammy Abraham would work. I think you know, Serie A as well. Can you judge? You know, players do much better in Serie A. It's a difficult situation because there's not a striker that I want to buy. But for me, if Ten Hag wants Darwin Núñez, if Ten Hag wants Anthony, if Ten Hag wants, I don't know, Jonathan David, then that's who I want. Because at the end of the day, there's not a striker I sit there and think they're perfect. Or there's strikers out there that I think would be brilliant. Oh, I'd love Benzema, but you know. For me, I'm just going for whatever striker Ten Hag wants we get. Whatever striker Ten Hag thinks will work, I think United should get as well. Who would you pick for your dream midfield signing? It says Manny. My dream midfield signing would be Tchouaméni and De Jong, but I don't think that's particularly realistic. My dream signing would be Kylian Mbappe. Now, that would be my absolute dream signing, but I have a feeling Kylian Mbappe isn't going to come to Manchester United, believe it or not, as well. Guys, please do hit that like button if you have not already. And of course, subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're new. If you want to make it, if you want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news, transfers and more, make sure you subscribe for breaking Manchester United news, stories and more. A breaking story has just come out right now from Mike Way and the European lads. Saying that Antony and his agency are making it clear to other clubs that they're willing to make a move whilst Ajax want to keep him. It's come out now from a tier 1 reliable source, again, that Antony wants to leave Ajax, but Ajax would like to keep him. Now, Ajax can sell Timber. As I said, Ajax can afford to sell Timber, as we know, but Ajax apparently want to keep Antony because it will be hard for Ajax to find a replacement. Ten Hag even said that in an interview that it'd be hard to sell Antony. It'd be hard for Ajax to sell Antony because they'd need to find a replacement, whereas it'd be easier for Ajax to sell Timber. I think United have a good chance of getting Timber. I have a feeling we're going to get Timber. I think Antony wants to come to United. I think Antony wants to join Man United. And obviously, the report came out today saying if Ten Hag can't get a striker, he wants a left-footed right winger, which would be Antony. I'm sure United will be interested in Antony. I think we'll get a midfielder. I think we'll get Timber. And then I think we might look at Antony. I think Antony would want to come to Manchester United. But as I said, I think it's just a difficult deal to do. I think Antony wants to go, but I don't think Ajax want to get rid of him, especially losing Ten Hag, probably losing Timber. Will they want to lose Antony? It's also come out quite a few stories about, obviously, as I said earlier at the beginning of the video, Brandon Williams and Wan-Bissaka set to leave Manchester United. And then Rangnick also said that I'm speaking with Ten Hag and I will meet him very soon. If we bring the right players with the right mentality, I'm positive that we're able to bring the club back to the top. Maybe not possible in one window, but the next 2 or 3. As I said, guys, Rangnick had his last press conference today, and Rangnick's basically saying he's obviously spoken to Ten Hag on WhatsApp. He's going to meet up with Ten Hag on Sunday, and Rangnick's basically saying that he wants to work with Ten Hag, and he believes if him and Ten Hag can bring the right players with the right mentality to Manchester United, he's positive the club will be at the top again. He said it might not be possible in one window, but probably 2 or 3. And Rangnick's absolutely right. You know, if Man United, it's going to take 2 or 3 transfer windows, but if United can get their recruitment spot on, right players, right mindset, right personality, I think Ten Hag is the perfect coach. I think Mitchell van der Gaard's a great coach. If we can just bring in some more coaches, brilliant. And then if we can get the best recruitment team possible and recruit the best players and recruit the players Ten Hag wants, I think United could be back where they belong in the next few years. And I like that. Obviously, Ralph Rangnick has come and said that as well. I've always said just buy who Ten Hag wants as well. I've got lots and lots to get into, so do make sure you hit that like button. Do make sure you subscribe. And Nkunku is a cam. Nkunku's like a second striker that can play on the left, can play on the right, can play centre forward, can play as a cam. Nkunku just plays a bit of everywhere. And to be fair, I think Nkunku's a player that we could sign. I think Nkunku's a player, although there's not been massive links, the Nkunku links are what I call lazy journalism at the moment, because Nkunku's had a very good season, he's got very good stats, and obviously Ralph Rangnick has brilliant connections to RB Leipzig. And obviously DiMarzio did say Nkunku would like the Prem. I think the Nkunku links at the moment is a bit of lazy journalism, you know, RB Leipzig links, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean. However, I do think Ten Hag would like Nkunku, because one thing we know Ten Hag likes is versatility in players, and that's actually why. Now, De Jong was playing every now and then for Ajax before Ten Hag came in, and then when Ten Hag came in, De Jong actually became a regular at Ajax, and what it was about FRENKIE de Jong that Ten Hag really liked about him was his versatility. He could play centre-back, he could play centre-mid, he could play DM, he even played centre-forward once, he could play full-back. And I think you get that with Nkunku. We can play all across the front three. And when you need a right winger, but then if Ronaldo's injured, you need someone to fill in a striker. With Nkunku, you do get that because of his versatility. And I've always said I do see Nkunku as a slight Ten Hag player. I do think keep an eye on Nkunku. I think he's a player Ten Hag would like. I think, as I said, as we know, it is Ten Hag wants to sort out that midfield before anything. I think United's last signing will be a striker. Or a fullback or a right back. I think United are going for 2 midfielders and a centre back, and then depending on the budget we have left, it will be attack and fullback. I think generally it is Timber, De Jong, and a DM. I think that's what United want to get done in June. And then I think end of June, that's when you get your Nkunkus and your Nunez's and your Jonathan Davids and, you know, those kind of players and your fullback. I think it's the 3 priority positions of centre-back and 2 midfielders, because obviously we're losing a lot of centre-backs. And then I think whatever budget we have left goes on an attacker. If Nunez is gone, if Jonathan David's gone and there's not many fish in the sea, then reportedly Erik ten Hag would like a right-sided forward with a left foot. So that could be Anthony. Or we could go for Nkunku, I think is right-footed. I'm going to actually Google what footed is Nkunku. Is Nkunku left or right-footed? I think he's right-footed, but I don't know. I don't play FIFA. I don't play. You're going to tell me. You're going to tell me. Please tell me what foot is Nkunku. What footed is Nkunku? Because he can play on the right. Nkunku. He's right-footed. I did think he's right-footed. But with Nkunku, I'm actually going to read out. I'm going to show you this. So I share my screen. Thank you very much, Mr. Randomizer, for joining the members club. I just did that now. I'm going to show you my. I'm going to share my screen with you. Freaking laptop is going. Shut fuck up, laptop. Let me show you this about Nkunku. This is chance of the market. These are Nkunku stats. So as you can see on my screen, we'll go full screen. So you can see this quite well, I'm assuming. So Nkunku this season, 34 goals and 20 assists in 51 games. That's 54 goal contributions in 51 games. That's 54 goal contributions in 4,151 minutes. If we go into Nkunku's detailed stats, you can see that he was subbed on in 4 of those games. So you're actually looking at 47 games and 54 goal contributions, 47 starts. Now, if you look at Nkunku's stats this season, he's played left mid for the first 3 games, and he played right mid for 2 games. Then he played attacking midfielder, the 10 role for 2 games, back to right mid, back to attacking midfield. He's played as a second striker, attacking midfield, left mid. He's played as a centre forward, second striker, attacking midfielder. You know, you go through that, and that's absolutely crazy if you're looking at his stats there. Absolutely crazy. And I've always said the thing about Ten Hag is he loves versatility. And if you look at this map here, he's played 20 games as an attacking midfielder, 17 games as a second striker, 5 games on the left, 4 games on the right, 3 games as a centre forward, 1 game as a right winger. He can play anywhere across that front line, across the midfield, across the attack. And I think that's something that could really appeal to Ten Hag about Nkunku. If I'm going to be honest with you, I think we need a left foot centre back after we haven't had one in a long time. Plus, I renewed my subscription. Thanks for renewing your subscription. I am going to do some members only Q&A content once we get to 40k subscribers. I want to do like a members only Q&A every month. So thanks for joining the members club. And I do think we need a left foot centre back. But again, I just think while I'd like a left foot centre back, I'm at the point where United need about 20 things. United need about 20 things. United need about 20 players. That my mindset right now is box to box, CDM, centre back, striker, fullback. There are 5 priorities. And then next summer you go right wing, another fullback, a left foot centre back, maybe a Christian Eriksen be free, but maybe a Bruno backup if we don't get Eriksen. That's how I think as well. Ten Hag has asked to complete all the transfers by June so we can get training started to all the players. Yeah, Ten Hag wants all the transfers done before pre-season as well. And guys, we are on 200 likes, so thanks to everyone that has hit that like button as well. Really do appreciate the support on the channel. I was just showing Nkunku stats up on the screen as well. Our bench should also be solid. We will not overplay players, I agree. And there's going to be the 5 sub rule next season, so bench depth is going to be so important. Sign Tchouaméni. I'd love to sign Tchouaméni. Jong to United could still happen. Look, Jong doesn't want to come. I don't think he wants to stay at Barca. Xavi wants to keep Jong, but there's definitely a possibility Jong could happen. And Andrew said, given none of the pure striker options are that exciting, a versatile option like Nkunku could work and then move for a number 9 when CR7 leaves. Exactly, Andrew. I completely agree with that point. And it was said that Ten Hag would like a versatile forward. And I'm at the point where if Ronaldo's staying, I would take Nkunku for the year that Ronaldo's here and then next summer get a striker because there's not much fish in the sea in the striker market. And the ones that are available are ridiculously overpriced. And is it worth spending money on someone like Richarlison for the sake of buying one? As well, left foot centre backs are not essential. Plenty of those epic centre back pairs at other clubs didn't have one. Exactly. I don't think it's essential. I think long term, maybe you look at it. But I think look at England. Tyrone Mings only gets called up to England because he's got a left foot. Is Tyrone Mings essential to England? No, he's pretty shit, isn't he? Man United will win 3-0 on Sunday. I think we're more likely to lose 3-0, mate. But I hope we win 3-0. Look, I hope we beat Crystal Palace. I do not want to be in the Conference League. I will cry if we're in the Conference League. I will tell you that now. But I generally have no hope that we're going to beat Crystal Palace. That's how shit we've been. That's how bad we are. That I have no confidence that United are going to beat Crystal Palace. And I hate to say it, but it's true. I don't trust this squad. I don't know if they'll beat Palace. And I'm quite particularly worried. What I will say, guys, is if you're watching right now and you're not subscribed, please do subscribe because I will be doing a transfer news show tomorrow night. And if you want to stay up to date with all the latest news on Timber, Anthony, Ten Hag, Diog, make sure you're subscribed. If United make a bid for any players, I will be live to update you guys. If United agree personal terms for any players, I'll be live to update you guys. If we buy or sell anyone, I'll be live to update you guys. So make sure you're subscribed if you're not subscribed because it's going to be our busiest transfer window in years and I'm going to be keeping you up to date on all the latest transfer news on the channel. And I will be doing a watch along for Man United Crystal Palace final game of the season as well. So do make sure you're subscribed. Smash a like. Bish, bash, bosh. Would love Enzo Fernandez and Lema in the midfield. I think they're 2 decent midfielders that I'd like to see at United as well. I think good value for money as well. And I will take 3 transfer windows to get the players Ten Hag needs. I think it's going to need 3 transfer windows because I think we need a lot of players. There's a lot of things that need to be done as well. Erik Ten Hag has spoken a little bit about joining Manchester United and all of that. Ten Hag was asked if he's ready for his new opportunity, and Ten Hag said, "Look at it this way. This past year was a bonus year. I had the opportunity to leave last year, but 4.5 years is a nice period." Ten Hag then spoke about Ronaldo and said that Cristiano Ronaldo is a true player. He's a magnificent winner. I cannot wait to work with him. Ten Hag also spoke about was asked how much faith he has in himself, and he said that must be a lot. When the world is on fire, you must stay calm and make the right choices. Because obviously Ten Hag's joining United. United is like the most difficult job in the world for a manager right now because you've got the board, you've got the player power issues and all of that. And Ten Hag has a lot of faith in himself, which I admire. Ten Hag also said it's going to be a greater challenge managing Manchester United because the league is much better and obviously being responsible for football achievements demands a lot from someone and requires the necessary qualifications. Ten Hag knows it's a massive job joining Manchester United. He's spoken about it as well. And I really like Ten Hag. His interviews are quite convincing and all of that. Ten Hag spoke about conversations he's had with Ronaldo. He said, not just Ronaldo, but Ten Hag spoke about conversations and he said that there was an interesting chat. He thinks he could appreciate the way we played. I think it was about the decision. the referee made and all of that when he did have a chat with Ronaldo in the past. And Ten Hag said the goal was to make Manchester United Europe-proof again, like we did with Ajax reaching the UCL with Manchester United. Is prestige. You know, he reached the UCL semi-final of Ajax, and I think Ten Hag really wants to reach the UCL semi-final. Well, hopefully a final and win at UCL with United, obviously. Thanks for subscribing, Jordan, as well. What's happening with Lingard? He's leaving. He's having a sulk. Lingard's gone. He won't play for United again. I'll tell you that now. But I think it is the end of Jesse Lingard now. I like Lingard. I've always liked Lingard, but I just think his time needs to go. He's not good enough. He's playing up. He should have gone to West Ham. I don't know why he was here for a year. Maybe it's because Ollie lied to him. I think Lingard just wasted a fucking year of his career staying at United, didn't he? Absolutely did as well. Erik ten Hag spoke about Jurrien Timber and said that he's another great leader that was trained at Ajax. Besides his football skills, he has a great personality and he could be a captain one day. And then the interviewer said, please don't take him with you. And Ten Hag smiled and laughed at the interviewer when he said, don't take Timber to United. So, you know, Ten Hag didn't say no. When Ten Hag's been asked about Timber, when Ten Hag was asked about Man United 2 months ago. 2 months ago, we had no clue if it was going to be Ten Hag or Poch. It started to if towards Ten Hag, but 2 months ago, we had no clue if we're going to get Ten Hag and Poch. And there was all the speculation around Ten Hag, and Ten Hag in interviews, he kind of avoided the question. He never denied it. You know, he never said, I'm not going to United. He just said, I'm focused on Ajax and working at Ajax. That's what Ten Hag said. And when Ten Hag's being asked about Timber, he's saying the same. He's not saying, Timber's not coming or anything like that. Ten Hag's kind of avoiding the question. He's like, well, I'm focusing on this. I'm focusing on that. You know, that's kind of what Erik ten Hag is doing, which I fucking love about Ten Hag, the fucking man. But that's what Ten Hag's doing. He's kind of just like, going, Timber this, Timber that. And I think, it's very obvious United trying to get Timber. United want Timber. Ten Hag wants Timber. United are in the works to try and get a Timber deal done. And hopefully we get it done. But I think the fact that Ten Hag's not denying the Timber interest says it all. If the verbal agreement is true, then I think we'll get Timber. If it's true, United have reached a verbal agreement with Ajax for Timber, then I generally feel like we will get Timber if that's true. But I can't tell you if that's true or not. If it is true, I think we'll get him. I've got lots and lots to get into, so smash the like button, subscribe as well. McFred is like a dog chasing cars. We don't want to see McFred next season. My biggest fear is that we buy Frenkie de Jong, but no other midfielder, and then we stick for Frenkie de Jong next to McTominay, and Frenkie de Jong will look shite. Talking of transfer news, talking of the outs, talking of the ins, Evan Ndika is a player United are looking at, according to Fabrice Hawkins, but I think Timber will be the centre-back we buy, but I do quite like the look of Ndika. But talking of the players set to leave Manchester United, 10 players are set to leave Manchester United, said Sammy Mokbel of the Daily Mail, Samuel Lucker said that the new Manchester United manager, Erik ten Hag, has told Diego Dalot he is in the plans. Diego Dalot has been told by Erik ten Hag he's in United's plans, and United have informed interested parties that there's currently no negotiation for Dalot. Dalot's been told he will stay, and Wan-Bissaka's representatives have been told that he's not in the plans. Now, people will be like, why is Dalot in the plans? He's bang average, because you can't sell Dalot and Wan-Bissaka in one window. I think this makes sense. We're getting told Wan-Bissaka's not in the plans, and we're getting told Dalot is in the plans. At the end of the day, some of you might be like, can't we sell both Dalot and Wan-Bissaka? This time next year, Dalot could be a player leaving, but you can't sell both your right backs when another 10 players are leaving, because we can only bring 5-6 players in, so we can't sell the whole squad. And I think Ten Hag had a choice to make, Dalot or Wan-Bissaka. He's picked Dalot, Wan-Bissaka will go, Dalot will stay. If Dalot's poor, maybe we'll buy Lamptey next season. I think that's the situation. Ten Hag's also told Brandon Williams he's probably not going to get the game time he wants, so United are looking at offers for Brandon Williams. And obviously Eric Bailly and Phil Jones could be offloaded by United as well. And apparently Lyon and Marseille are actually looking at Eric Bailly, and a lot of clubs are looking at Eric Bailly. I think teams will be interested in Eric Bailly as well. Kante's 31. United have been linked to Kante. I don't think we'll get him. I don't think we get Neves. I don't think he's a Ten Hag style player. I think Bissouma's more Ten Hag style, but I think United want to avoid Bissouma because of situations and all of that. Or you buy Frenkie de Jong and don't play him. Imagine if we play McFred next season, have de Jong and Donny on the bench. What a joke. Dalot has more to work with and he's younger. Yeah, definitely. And I think Dalot has a better attitude. I've heard things. Look, when I say I've heard things, I hear from some people that could just make it up, or they've heard it from someone that's made it up to them. But I've heard things behind the scenes that Wan-Bissaka's not the best dressing room person. He doesn't get on with a lot of the players, and he could be one of the negative influences in the dressing room. And, you know, is there much between Wan-Bissaka and Dalot ability-wise? No. But if Dalot's not causing issues in the dressing room and Wan-Bissaka is, then you want to keep Dalot and he's younger. Now, obviously, I don't know if Wan-Bissaka's causing issues in the dressing room. This was just someone telling me that. They could have made that up. I am no tier one source of information, so take that with a pinch of salt. I don't want to spread a story that's not true. I don't know if he is. I just heard things. Okay, just want to throw that out. I don't know. I don't know if that's true. Anyone could have made that up and told me, okay? But, you know, if that is the case that Wan-Bissaka's not the best in the dressing room, and then it would explain why he's gone. I think United want to get rid of anyone that's causing issues in the dressing room because there's a big problem with player power. Lingard is leaving. I don't know. People are arguing about Frenkie de Jong in the chat. Like, at the end of the day, you can call Frenkie de Jong overrated if you want. He's a brilliant player and he's much better than what we have. And I would love Frenkie de Jong at United. Wan-Bissaka's been told he's leaving as well. I wonder if Reece James will consider Man United. I mean, if Chelsea go bust, I'd take Reece James. But Reece James will not come to United unless Chelsea are fucked. Look, as much as we like to banter Chelsea, I wouldn't want to see Chelsea not find an owner. I think that would be tragic for football. Samuel Luckhurst has come out and said that Rangnick says Manchester United have question marks over a number of players. Sancho and Jones did withdraw from training sessions this week, and Luke Shaw's partner's given birth to their second child. So we probably won't be seeing them on Sunday against Palace. And what can you do? What can you do, eh? Rangnick said again in this press conference today, he's spoken to Ten Hag. Rangnick said Garnacho might not be involved because he's been ill. And Rangnick said that, you know, his biggest disappointment at Manchester United was since the Atletico Madrid game, United haven't found their shape. And it was true. You know, leading up to the Atletico Madrid game, we actually, although we weren't getting the best results, when we played Middlesbrough and when we played Watford, we didn't get good results, but we were playing with football. And when we played Atletico Madrid, I think we were the better team. We were just a little bit unlucky. But then since Atletico Madrid, we've been fucking shite. And, you know, Rangnick said, you know, since Atletico Madrid, it's like the players just assume the season's over. I generally think because once, you know, you're knocked out the Champions League and you know you're not going to get in the Champions League next season, I think the players in their mind have written off this season. And I think we've got much worse since being knocked out the Champions League. Not that I thought we could get much worse, but we have, if you get what I mean. And Rangnick's been saying that. And Rangnick said that he strongly believes that there is a core of players at Manchester United who are still good enough to play for the club. You know, obviously we sit here and we're like, sell them all but Ronaldo. But there are players that maybe they haven't been great this season, but they could be here in 5 years and win a trophy in 5 years. And those players are Ronaldo, he probably won't be here in 5 years, he's old, but players like Bruno Fernandes that have had a poor season, players like Bruno Varane, Sancho, and even Luke Shaw, who haven't had the best seasons, they're not players I look at and I go, get rid. Now, they're players I look at and I go, if they have multiple source seasons, get rid. But they're players that, when in form, when we know how good they are in form, are good enough for United. You know, and I think that's what Rangnick is trying to say as well. Rangnick spoke about his role at Manchester United with Ten Hag, and he said that, you know, he's going to speak in Ten Hag in detail about different areas. He said that Rangnick believes he could be of help to Ten Hag because of everything he's done in the last 15 years at Hoffenheim, Salzburg, and Leipzig. You know, he's helped with rebuilds, and I think Rangnick's just going to be there to be able to talk to Ten Hag and influence things as well. Rangnick said about Manchester United, about the rebuild, that United need to bring the players with the right mentality. You need to bring the right players. And if that is the case, he's positive that we'll be back to where we need to be. Rangnick was also asked in the press conference for the Crystal Palace match about, you know, the Conference League, Europa League. And Rangnick said, look, obviously United want to be in the Champions League, but there's a massive difference between Europa League and the Conference League. We need to be in the Europa League. We're too big for the Conference League. And the players would much rather play in the Europa League than the Conference League. Look, I don't want to watch the Conference League. I don't mind watching the Europa League. That's how I feel. And Rangnick obviously spoke about team news at Crystal Palace, and he said there's quite a few players missing, but he's still positive we'll have a strong starting 11. And that was from Ralph Rangnick's press conference as well. So yeah, look, I'm a bit worried about Crystal Palace as well. Tierney, De Jong, defensive midfielder, Anthony, I agree, and then maybe a fullback as well. And Donny is better than Fred. Unfortunately, we have two mediocre managers who didn't know how to utilise his talent. Yeah, I think with Ten Hag coming in, Donny's going to be like a new signing. Donny will be a new midfield signing under Ten Hag, which will be brilliant. Can we talk more about Timber? United are in talks with Timber, talks of advance. United want Timber. Erik Ten Hag wants Timber. Timber's going to be 30 million quid. I think something could happen in the next few weeks. He'll go to Bayern or go to United. I think something will happen in the next few weeks. I don't think Timber will take long to do. In terms of Timber, I'm just talking about the Crystal Palace game Sunday. It's a must win, and you know, Rangnick's basically come out and said it's a must win as well. People are saying there's rumours that Pogba could sign a new deal at United. I genuinely believe that Paul Pogba is Juventus bound. I like Paul Pogba. I think he's a good player. I wish him all the best, but I just think it's silly if Paul Pogba signs a new deal at United. I just think it's a waste of his career. I don't think he's much use to us. I do like Paul Pogba, but I just think it would be silly if he signed a new deal at United as well. I think Martial's set to leave. He doesn't want to be here as well. I really, really do. And my prediction is United 3-1 Palace and Ronaldo will score all 3 goals. Look, I hope you're right. We better win. We better win. Wait a sec. Is a draw? Let me Google the Premier League table. Is a draw enough? Is a draw enough to So we are. No, West Ham have got better goal difference. So if City had beaten West Ham and not drew to West Ham, all we'd need is a point. But because West Ham got a point versus City, we need to beat Palace, or if we lose to Palace, we need Brighton to beat West Ham. Now, I think Brighton are capable of beating West Ham. Brighton beat a lot of big teams. They fucking beat us 4-0. But we shouldn't be looking at it like Brighton should beat West Ham. We should be looking at it like we can beat Palace. I have more confidence in Brighton beating West Ham than Man United beating Palace. I just don't think we're gonna win. We've won 1 of our last 5 games, guys. Like, that is fucking embarrassing. The last time United won 2 games in a row was back in February. We just cannot find any form, any consistency. I fucking wish we had Norwich. Well, I say that. We were lucky to beat Norwich. It was a Ronaldo hat-trick. But looking at the Premier League, we need to win. We need to win. If West Ham draw or lose, it's fine. Okay? But we need to win, or we need Brighton to do us a favour, because I do not want to be in the Conference League. I'd rather not be in Europe than be in the Conference League. I just think it's pointless. Europa League, we've got some good teams in the competition. Like, I'm sorry, the Conference League is a shit idea. It's a shit league. I don't care. I like the Europa League. I don't want the Conference League. And unfortunately, we've got to win as well. But what's wrong with Old Trafford? Old Trafford needs to improve massively. I don't think it's up to its standard. Someone said there's a spider on my wall. Probably is, guys. Is there a spider on my wall? Is there a spider on my wall? I don't know. Probably. There's loads of spiders at the moment because I've fucking got my window open. This is when like a big spider like jumps up there and I shit myself, imagine. But there's loads of spiders in my room at the moment. If Maguire plays on Sunday, forget about football. Maguire might play because I don't know what Varane's fitness is like and all of that as well. You just don't know. I can't trust our players. It's not a spider, it's Wan-Bissaka. May the best team get Europa League. See, Daniel's a West Ham fan, but I do not want to be in the Conference League. I will be crying on my watch along for in the Conference League. Do subscribe because I will be doing a watch along Sunday where she will be pissed if we're in the Europa League. She'll be very pissed as well. Mourinho in the Conference League. I hope Mourinho wins the Conference League. I like Mourinho. He's a final kind of guy. I hope Mourinho does win the Conference League, but I'm not going to watch the Conference League final. To win on Sunday, drop English players. The thing is, honestly, I think our best chance of winning is playing the youth team, the team that won the Youth Cup, because I just think our first team, other than Ronaldo, is fucking useless at the moment. They don't care. They don't try and all of that. So, they might turn up because Ten Hag will be watching. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping with Ten Hag watching, some of them like, I want to have a good game. So, you know, Ten Hag's going to watch. And that's what I really hope. I don't know what United are going to do, but I really, really hope they're going to, Ten Hag watching is going to influence them. Some kind of new manager bounce. I know it's not the new manager, but do you get what I mean? Try and make a point as well. Obviously, guys, if you just joined the live stream, United apparently advanced talks for Timber. United is still working a deal for Jong, but it could be difficult because Xavi and Barcelona want to keep Jong, but they might have to sell him because of financial issues. Obviously, that's the situation. United want a CDM. United looking at attackers. James Garner, future, unsure. Depends if Nottingham Forest get promoted. Williams, Wan-Bissaka told to basically they're not involved and all of that. So lots and lots going on for those that just joined as well. What's my starting 11? Well, I don't know who's fit. Will Luke Shaw be around? Because I play Luke Shaw over Telles. I'd probably play. I don't think Luke Shaw's going to be about, so it'd probably be Delo and Telles because we've got no other fullbacks. De Gea. I'd go Varane and Lindelof if fit. I would go Matic. I know Matic's career's done, but Matic had a big rest. The fact that Matic has had 2 weeks off, I think he'll be brilliant. I would go Matic and Fred. So I'd go De Gea, because I don't think Luke Shaw's going to be there. Telles, Delo, Lindelof, Varane, Matic, Fred, Bruno. I know he's been shit, but look, do you trust Lingard after all that's happened? Bruno, Sancho, if he's fit. I don't think Sancho's going to be fit, though. So it's going to have to be Ronaldo up top. Elanga and maybe Rashford on the left, and hope that Rashford, because Ten Hag's watching, Rashford might just fucking run for a change. So it's a difficult one because I don't know who's going to be around. Sancho might not be around, but I would play Matic. I know Matic is leaving, but I'd 100% play Matic because he's had 2 weeks off and I think he'll be brilliant. Look, Fred, no, you've got to play Matic for me. I think Matic and Ronaldo, De Gea, Varane, Lindelof, Dalot, they're the players that would start for me, and then the rest really depends who's fit. Jong's coming back, but I don't think I'll play. I don't think he's good enough. Any updates on Lamar joining you guys? Well, Lamar is interested in the move to the Premier League. United have got interest in Lamar. Not much in it. Bayern Munich want Lamar. RB Leipzig would rather sell to United than Bayern Munich because we're not a direct rival. Let's wait and see. They should have brought Alisson instead of Ralph. I don't think I'd want to manage them players. They piss me off. I'd be screaming at them. I'd be saying, you fucking lazy pieces of shit. I heard rumours at the end of Rashford at Man United. Rashford could leave. I don't know. Ten Hag probably watched Rashford and wasn't very impressed. Rangnick's probably told Ten Hag that Rashford hasn't been very impressive. But again, I just think Rashford's a player that when you've got 10 other players leading and 3 of which are attackers, can you afford to sell a 4th attacker? You know, United need to sell the whole team at the moment, really. But you can't sell the whole team because, you know, you can only buy a certain amount of players. As I said, Sancho did leave training early yesterday. Shaw could be back, but yeah, as Nick said, I don't know who's going to be back. I don't know who's going to be around as well. Bayern Munich will literally buy the best players in the Bundesliga. I know Bayern just buy all the best players in the Bundesliga. And the thing about the Bundesliga is they don't overprice players like the Premier League. So Bayern get all these players for decent money. If these Bundesliga players were Premier League players in English, you slap 50 million on them. Lamar, 20 million. If he's English, if he's in the Prem, 60 mil. So you get what I mean? And Nkunku will be 200 million in the Premier League. It's madness how expensive Premier League players are as well. Guys, make sure you smash that like button and, of course, subscribe down below if you're new. I will be doing a watch-along on Sunday for United versus Crystal Palace. So do make sure you subscribe to the channel if you do want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news, updates, and more transfer shows every single day as well. But I am going to wrap up today's live stream, guys. Thanks everyone for tuning in today's live stream. I am back tomorrow night with a live stream. There might be a short video during the day tomorrow, and then Sunday, watch along. Final day of the season, watch alongs, match reactions. Subscribe for watch along and match reaction, and then we've got a busy summer ahead. 10 out, 5 ins being reported live every single evening throughout the transfer window and the build up to the transfer window, because I think Man United are going to get business done early, which is why there's a lot of transfer news live streams at the moment, because I think we're going to get business done early. So do make sure you're subscribed. Big up everyone tuning in. Thank you for watching. Thanks everyone in the chat. I'll see you next time. Like, subscribe, share. Bye.